What is up, people? Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another match preview here on the Cup Chasers. That's right, it's the North London Derby at the weekend, and it is absolutely massive for both teams. For Spurs, of course, under relegation threats with the new manager, Igor Tudor. And of course, it's the Arsenal going for the title, trying desperately to finally get one over the line. And it's been a tough week. It's certainly been a tough couple of games in the Premier League. Obviously, the last two draws, not what we're looking for, of course. And we're going to have to bounce back. Going to have to bounce back massively. So go ahead and smash up the likes for the North London Derby. Go ahead and hype it up if you got any of those points left. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're certainly grateful you are here. And I want to know what you're thinking in the comment section down below. Go ahead and get your comments in. I certainly appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here, people. Of course, we're going to get right into this one. The feeling around the fan base, of course, is nervousness. It's a lot of the word bottling going around, and we 100% have to put that to bed. We got to put that to bed. We need to bounce back. This is all that matters. This drop everything else. Winning this game, smashing Spurs is the main thing. It's the only thing in our mind right now. The only thing there, and we absolutely must have a statement win in this game. I'm not going to sit here and say we are going to destroy them, but we must. It would go an absolutely incredibly long way to turning this ship around and to silencing some of the noise in the fan base, some of the nervousness, some of the nerves that you can see manifesting on the field. And we got to stop it. We got to make sure that we come together as a fan base and win this game so we can go on and win the league. I believe that we can do it. I believe we're going to win the league still, despite the wobble. And so we have to start proving that in this game. It's going to be very tough to call, very tough to judge, honestly, because we don't know Mr. Igor Tudor. And I think that is where we can start. We'll obviously get back to the feeling around the club and the team in socials, in the dressing room, etc. We'll get to that, all of that. But I want to take a look first here at Mr. Igor Tudor, the new head coach. And while I have been pretty critical of his time at Juventus, just knowing what I know from how they played under him last season, watched a couple of Italian league games, but mostly my experience with him is in the Champions League, where Juventus were not good at all. Last season, he was only at Juventus for 10. Oh, no, this is a record of his first 10 matches at each club. But yeah, he was only at Juventus for like 7 months, 8 months or something like that. And he got sacked earlier this year because he went like 7 games straight without a win for Juventus in the league, in the cup, in their schedule, of course. And so he got sacked. And now Spurs have brought him in. And it's interesting because we kind of know how he's going to play. We know he favors the wing back style. The 3 at the back becomes 5 at the back off the ball, of course. So he favors that. And I'm actually confident that we are very good against such tactics. The best team we've played that does that is Inter Milan, and we smashed them. We absolutely smashed them. And it's interesting because of how we smashed Inter. is kind of when we're at our best. And when we play like that is when we are at our best. And we need to 100% play like that. We need to bring the urgency. I think when teams press against the Juventus teams under Tudor, they were really, really put under it. They like to play, which is wild because it was very boring. Juventus was very boring under Igor Tudor. Slow, methodical control. And maybe that was just because I was watching the Italian league and it's kind of slow in general, but there wasn't a whole lot of to get really excited about in those games. And so if he brings that kind of energy, that kind of approach to Tottenham, it could be a stink fest. They could try to stink it out and just not concede and just be really tight at the back and really, really, really deep. And so I expect that we might see that, just depending on what, I'm not sure how Igor Tudor is going to approach his opposition. That's the thing. We can study what he does, but as far as what he's going to think of this Arsenal team, it's kind of up in the air. And so I kind of knee-jerk is to expect that he's going to sit back, sit deep, and be really tough to break down is kind of the approach I would expect from him. But also you have to throw in the fact that Spurs are it's so many injuries, so many unbelievable injuries that they have. It's crazy, and so I'm not even sure what the team's going to be. Romero is still suspended for this one. So I'm thinking that it'll be Van de Ven might be back. So it'll probably be Van de Ven and Dragusin. And then Danso is what we're looking for, and is what I'm thinking might be the 3-back system for Spurs. Those will be the 3 players in there as far as the back line goes. And it will, those players don't inspire fear. They don't really inspire, any kind of worry in me. Yes, Van de Ven is really good, but, really fast, kind of a speed merchant, I would say. Not that's his best attribute, not necessarily too much, apart from that. I think that we can definitely deal with what he has to offer as far as at the back. What's up? What's up, Lumen? How you doing? Yes, you are I am the one you saw on the cannons. I was yesterday. I hopped on after the game, or after the Wednesday night. What's today? Wednesday night. Yeah, I hopped on with Anton. I was on that for the emergency stream, of course, while everybody was freaking out after the Wolves result. And to be fair, so was I. I was not excited. I was able to calm down for my show that night, and then by the time I got to the emergency stream with Anton, I wasn't necessarily as panicky as I was at the very beginning of it. But yeah, thanks for coming on, Lumen. Yeah, hey man, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Just kind of going through my thoughts and feelings on what we're going to be seeing against Spurs. Trying to figure out their lineup. It'll definitely be Solanke, but they're so injury hit, it's tough to call. And obviously with the new manager, it's tough to see what he's going to do. Is the charm faded even if you win the Premier League? Depends on what you mean, the charm. I don't think the charm's faded. I'm locked in. I'm still here, hoping we win, enjoying. I'm kind of the wrong person to ask that because I'm a fan of the game before I'm a fan of any team. Lumen, they're so injury hit, it's crazy. But I'm a fan of the game more than the Arsenal. And so that's why on this channel, you'll see watch alongs from all kinds of stuff, all kinds of different, I've been following the Coppa Italia, obviously locked in on the Champions League. So I definitely think that while it's tough And if you actually go back and look at the timeline of this channel, as we get to the end of seasons, I get kind of frustrated, and I tend to drop off a little bit because of how, Arsenal just pissing me off the last 4 years of dropping the ball and bottling it, as everyone says, has really kind of, uh, you know, gotten me off the pace a little bit sometimes at the end of seasons, and so, yeah, the charm can fade. The charm can, it can be really, really frustrating, to not win, of course. And so it kind of gets disheartening. But every single time I come back, every season I come back, because I love the game. I absolutely love it. And I can't stop myself from watching the league, from following the league. And so, yeah, I'm here, man. Yeah. Solanke, Mwani, and Tell. Yeah, there you go. That's probably who we're facing. That is 100% Lumen, who I expect to be facing. That's a good call there. And I think we can handle that. I think we can handle that front three for sure. It'll be very, very interesting to see how Tudor works out his wing-back system with Spurs. I know they played it some under Frank, and so the players may not be too unfamiliar with it. But as it is there, and they've also had all week to prepare for it, 12 days or whatever to prepare for this one. And I don't know when he came in that period, so I don't know how many sessions they've had to practice his system. So I kind of feel like they're going to be just playing on straight vibes. They're going to be just playing on the fact that this is the North London derby. This is our arch rival. And in Spurs' minds, of course, they're going to be thinking, man, Arsenal are wobbling. Arsenal are teetering, heading towards what we do every season. And Spurs are going to be thinking that they could just give us a little push and we'll plummet off the cliff here. Is probably where their mind is as far as the motivation and how they're going to, attack the game. They're probably thinking, man, oh man, we could really, really hamper Arsenal's title hopes, really, really put a dent here. And so I think that's what they're going to be playing off of mostly. The draw against Wolves broken every Arsenal fan, even the most Arteta pro ones. Actually sad to see wings clipped with such an excited fan base. We're reactionary, man. Lubin, we are very reactionary as a fan base. And it's tough not to be. It's tough not to be after so long of a trophy drought. And within that trophy drought, the rise of social media has also put everything to the forefront. It's put all of this energy, this collected nervousness that we all have because we haven't won for so long. It's brought it all together and put it in one place, and it's manifesting on the field. It's manifesting on the field. That's why we got so nervous versus Wolves. That's why we got so nervous versus Brentford at the end of the game. And so, that's the reason that we're all like this. And I asked my panel on the Cup Chasers podcast on Wednesday. I said, where's the mentality shift? What's it going to take? And for me, it's Arteta. Arteta is under the most pressure. Arteta is the one that has to bring that. He's got to find that mentality within himself, and he's got to show that to the team. I would imagine that when he's in front of the team, he is, like rock solid, steadfast. We're going to win no matter what, I believe. And that's what he needs to show to the team, no matter what he actually feels. But in his mind, not everything is verbal. Not everything you get from your leader is verbal, and so in the way Arteta carries himself, he has to show to everyone, not just the players, but also to the fan base as well, that, he's steady. He's very, very confident that we're going to do this and nothing's going to shake that faith. And I don't know if we've necessarily seen that in bunches. I mean, I definitely think that the players at least believe in Arteta and will run through a brick wall for him. So, the issue is for me is there's so much flack and noise from rivals and the storylines about Arteta hasn't done this, Arteta hasn't done that, he can't get it over the line, he's finished third 3 straight seasons. All this noise is kind of seeped into our mentality when it comes to how we're viewing the team, how we're viewing the manager. And I think it's derailing us a little bit, and I think that as Arsenal fans, we need to shut out all the noise, block out all the ops and the rivals, and just focus on the fact that, no, not at all, Lumen. Not even close has Arteta lost the dressing room. No way. There's no way, man. They love him. They will run through a brick wall for him. There's no way he's lost the dressing room. I would be absolutely shocked and baffled to hear that this had come out and that they're not playing for him or whatever. I don't think that I personally don't think that is an issue. I think right now in this moment, the biggest issue we have as an Arsenal fan base, community, team together is that we panic so much. So we're all freaking out. And the team knows that. And anybody who thinks that the team doesn't hear the noise and that the nerves of the fan base doesn't get into the dressing room is just flat wrong. You're just flat wrong. Wayne mother effing Rooney on the whatever podcast he was on, I think it was the Overlap recently. He straight up said it from the horse's mouth. The fan base energy gets into the locker room. It does, no matter if it shouldn't, no matter if, you think that that's wrong or bad or awful, whatever, it happens. From the horse's mouth, right from Wayne Rooney. Premier League great. I hate him. I hate the guy for what he did for Manchester United, of course. I don't have anything against him as a person, obviously, but, he always played for the wrong team. I think he's one of the greatest. In the Premier League era, but that doesn't mean I really ever liked him. But when people like that speak, when people like that, are given truths that come from their experience, we got to listen. You got to take that into account and listen. The nervousness of the fans, I think, is Arsenal's biggest issue right now. And you can see it in the nervousness on the field. You can see it. It's manifesting on the field. And I think fans need to take some responsibility for that. I think we absolutely do need to take some responsibility for that, and get behind the team to help us move us forward. If you want your fan base to ignore all noise of rivals, then you all should stop getting excited, even if you beat Spurs and Chelsea. Stay silent and get louder in May when you have won anything major. See, I don't agree with this, Lumen. I've won all kinds of major shit. I have more FA Cups than everybody. Like, if we're going to talk about the fan base can't ignore everything that's gone before. What are we supposed to focus on? The last 6 months? Well, guess what? The game against Wolves is history. It's gone. It's history. And you know what else is history? The 13 league titles I have. The 14 FA Cups I have. That's also history. So where do we stop? As we're going back and looking at what we shouldn't be thinking about, what we should be ignoring, where do we stop? So this group under Arteta has not won anything major. But this team, this club, has won shitloads of stuff. You're right. 0 Champions Leagues is also history. But do you know what a Cup Winners' Cup is? Do you know what an Intercontinental Championship is? That's also history. Whether you like it or not, that's history. And so, how far back are we gonna go? It's not, fans have to get excited. Fans definitely, we're going to be excited. What's the point of following the team if we're not going to get excited when we win? And we're only going to be excited when we see people lifting trophies. If fans are only supposed to be excited or not or let down by their team when we on cup final day or on the final day of the season, what's the point of following the team the whole way? What's the point? It's a journey, man. It's a journey. And we need to follow the team in the journey itself as well. So I'm definitely going to be excited when we beat Spurs. I'm going to be excited when we beat Chelsea. No fan base stays silent throughout the whole season. That doesn't make much sense to me. You know, this club has won tons of stuff. What do you mean we haven't learned anything? What have we not learned? We've learned tons of shit. Look at how Arteta has changed our approach over the seasons. Of course he's learning. Of course he's adapting. We've certainly learned plenty of stuff over the seasons. And the one thing we haven't learned is the mental disconnect, the mental gap. Getting over the line, the mental gap is the one thing we haven't necessarily got to. And I think Arteta needs to find it, needs to find that and show it to the team. That's where, if at the very least, Arteta needs to fake it till we make it. And I actually believe he probably is. He's probably, still in there saying, 100% belief, 100% we're going to win this. We're going to do this, and we go again, short memory kind of thing. We go again and we get back to our best. You're right. You're right, Lumen. It's up here. It's up here. It really is. And that's why when we got nervous versus Wolves, dropped the ball. When we were up against it versus Brentford, that's why we weren't the ones battering down the door to score. At the end of the Brentford game, it was back and forth. Either team could have won that game. Either team actually should have. Somebody should have won that game. I'm not going to say it was us, and I'm not going to say it was them, but one of the two teams absolutely should have won that game. The chances at the end were there. And so it's about mentality. It's about knowing when you step on the pitch that we're going to win today. Not like in an arrogance way, but in a way that every time they step on the pitch, they have to have it in their head that we're going to win today. We're going to do whatever it takes, and we're going to effing win this game, no matter what. I am 100% blaming mentality over tactics. 150 million%. You can't blame Arteta. We should have beat Brentford. We had plenty of chances to put that game away. We should have beat Wolves. 100% should have beat Wolves. There was plenty of opportunity to beat Wolves, but we're not finishing. That's what happened in Brentford and versus Brentford and versus Wolves. We're not finishing. And then when really, and the what I really blame about mentality is the fact that it's game management. It's always game management. It's always slow and methodical. It's never blitzkrieg, which blows my mind because we blitzed Wigan and quit playing. Versus Wolves, we had an 8-minute blitzkrieg and we scored a goal and then we quit playing. That's the mentality. That's mentality. That has nothing to do with tactics. We destroyed them for 8 minutes. We were all over them for 8 minutes. And then we stopped playing. That's mentality. And we cannot have that ever again. We cannot have that ever again. I need the mentality of 4-0 or we keep working. If I'm not up 4 goals, we keep working. That's the mentality. That is the mentality of champions. When you went down 2-0 to the treble winners or to the four-peat Man City team, you never even saw the effing ball again. You couldn't get it off of them. And that is the issue that Arsenal has. When we go up, we give teams too much joy. When we get nervous and scared, we stop playing through the lines. We stop passing. We stop controlling the game and trying to pass teams to death like we are good at. That's what we're good at. And so that's the mentality thing. When the going gets tough, we tend to freak out and we tend to go away from what we do well. That's mentality. That's not tactics. It's definitely mentality, not tactics. Because when things get crazy, we tend to panic. We tend to not play our game. And that's very worrisome. It's very discouraging to see that, and that's something that Arteta's going to have to work on. That's something that we're going to have to improve on for sure if we're going to win this league. And I need to see it on Sunday. I absolutely need to see it on Sunday. We're going to know, it might be at 2 points. It 100% could be at 2 points. Kept playing who weren't performing and never brought on players who did well against Wigan. So that's not necessarily tactics. You can look at Arteta for substitutions and when he should have made substitutions. And it's baffling to me that Norgard doesn't come on for Zubamendi late in games. That's the one that gets me. Why does Zubamendi, who's looking dog tired, who had zero effect when we started panicking at the end of the Wolves game, why does Norgard not come on? That's the biggest issue with Arteta. But as far as tactics, the tactics are fine. I can point out the tactics every single time. But the problem is, at the very end of the game, we go away from the tactics, and we're creating way too many second ball situations. Raya's hitting it long. Gabriel's just hoofing it. We're creating way too many dead ball situations and 50-50 second ball situations. Now, normally, when we make a goalkeeper hit it wrong and we win a bunch of second balls, and that's fine. But if we're just making ourselves have to win that battle over and 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 over again, we're not going to win 100% of them. And when teams win second balls against us and get us running towards our own goal, we're very vulnerable. We're very vulnerable. Why play both Zubi and Rice? Because they're the best two center midfielders at the club. I think Zubamendi's tackling is so underrated. His work against the ball is incredibly underrated. And I think people who don't watch incredibly closely, like most Arsenal fans, don't necessarily notice the work that Zubi's doing, that he's getting through. And that's why he's dead. He's gassed. Every time you've seen Zubamendi subbed off, he looks like he's about to fall over. And why Norgard doesn't come in and play when Zubi's going tired is one of the biggest issues I think Arteta has, and I'm not sure what that's about. I'm a big fan of Christian Norgard. I think that he can definitely come in and give us the 20 minutes, the 15 minutes or whatever that maybe Zubi's lagging for. And so that's the one that I'm not sure about. Igal, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you, man. I really think that, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Gal. This game is, I don't care how it happens, hook, crook, it doesn't matter how this happens. We need to win this one for sure. And this point here about Norgard is interesting because he's got such a positive attitude. For one, you hear all of his interviews. He's incredibly happy to be there. He, even though a lot of, the mentality would, around football and the conversation itself is that, oh, well, I'm not playing. My career is going to waste or whatever. And Norgard does not have that attitude at all, which is amazing. And so, yeah, it's a little bit interesting that Arteta doesn't necessarily trust him to come in late in games for Zubamendi or even for Declan Rice. I think Norgard is good enough that he could give us 10 minutes at the end of games when either one of them are flagging, and so I hope to see that a little bit more. Maybe we'll see him on Sunday in such a situation. I do think the game is going to be very high intensity. These games are always pretty intense, no matter if it's cagey, no matter if it's back and forth or whatever. It's definitely gonna be bitey, gonna be fouls, and it'd be interesting to see who the referee is. I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. The referee will be shit, no matter who it is, because they all are normally. And so, I try not to talk too much about the referees because of how poor they are in general. And so I'm not going to get my hopes up for a well-refereed match. But I think that the intensity will 100% be there. Egal, see, this is another huge talking point about the Arsenal fan base, and specifically, the players are online, bro. The players are 150 million% seeing it. Wayne Rooney said himself on the overlap the other day, this noise gets Peter Banks. That's not as bad as it could have been. But Wayne Rooney said himself on the overlap the other day, this noise gets into the dressing room. And even more so than in his time because of social media. If I'm the manager, I'm like taking people's phones. I'm like, don't get on socials. Stay off of socials. Delete your accounts. Like if I'm the manager, I'm like trying to do that, trying to do the blackout. But there's no way. In this world we live in of super saturated social media, there's a million apps, and there's a million people like me making content, putting our opinions out there. And so, yeah, unfortunately, it's there. They're going to see it, Yes. What are you talking about? Of course, players have time to be online. Practice isn't 7 hours a day. They don't practice for 7 hours a day. They have plenty of time to sit on their phone. What about plane rides? What about team bus travel? There's plenty of downtime in a footballer's life. They got way more downtime than I do. I'll tell you that right now. As you can see, my channel isn't necessarily huge, so there's no money coming in for this, and so I got to go to work after this. You know what I mean? They don't. They're sitting around afterwards, after they get off from practice or whatever. And yeah, some of them have family life or whatever, but that's just society today, man. Everyone is plugged in. Everyone's plugged in, including professional athletes, professional footballers. I mean, just look at the things that people like, say, Jed Spence like to post on Twitter. So if they're on there posting, making comments about locking people up and whatever, then they're obviously reading what else is coming in and what's being said in the media. And that's why I 100% believe that the fear and negativity in our fan base is manifesting on the field and making the players nervous as hell. So yeah, I absolutely believe they're online reading this, and it's unfortunate. And that's why I've been calling in recent times, really since the Brentford game, that we need to stop doing that as a fan base. Egal is for me, I think he's one of the best on YouTube at staying positive, at backing the players, at making sure that at least somebody out there is 100% still believing in the team, still saying, yep, we're the best. Egal's he's been consistent with that for a long time, and it's good to see. I think more Arsenal content creators need to be 100% back in the team. And one of my biggest things about it is, no matter if you think somebody's good enough or not good enough, should be here, shouldn't be here at the club, the window's closed, man. The window's closed. Ain't nobody going anywhere. Nobody's coming in until the end of the season. So can we put all that to the side? Can we put our thoughts of Odegaard perhaps hasn't been at his best this season to the side and just be like, look, you guys are amazing. See this right here, Tommy Lee, this is what this season, we're putting this to bed. This season, we're putting this to bed. Yeah, absolutely, Lumen. The excitement and noise should be the best motivation for them. The problem is not all of us, the fan base isn't united. Not all of us are focusing on the same thing. Not all of us are putting forth the, believe, as Robbie Lyle says, that we're going to win. Not all of us are doing that. And I'm not sitting here saying that all of us have to be super positive. I'm not saying that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But what I'm saying is we always need to caveat what we're saying and the criticisms we're giving with, we can still do this. we can still win. We are going to still win with that belief. And that, when we get that unity behind the team, and they can definitely feel that at least the majority of the fan base is behind the team, believing, then I think it'll go a long way. And it's very interesting how the online noise gets into the match going fans. I think there's it's very interesting to me, the difference in dynamic between match goers and online fans, and then how they kind of mesh, and how some of the total feeling around the club can seep into the match going fans. But I think they are the most important. As far as supporting the team, the match going fans are the most important. And we need the match going fans to be the ones believing, to be the ones singing the songs, screaming at the top of their lungs. Those people, the match goers, are the ones closest to the field, to the players, and the ones that the players can probably feel the most from. And so I think that they are very important. The whole truth is, Arsenal as a team deserve a title, but voice of such toxic fan base will hopefully never happen. Yeah, I mean, this is the crux of the discussion right now, isn't it? This is. I mean, I came on here, thinking I might get into the tactics and get into the how this game might play out, but then I've come on and it's been reversed, just because of the mood around everybody in the fan base or whatever. And so now we're just talking about being positive and trying to get behind the team. And while I'm not saying that, I'm not telling anybody what to do. You have to do this, have to do that, because I said it. I'm just saying I think it makes a huge, huge difference when every single time anything goes against us, we all freak out. And so every time anything goes against us on the field, on the pitch, the players start to get frenzied, harried, hustled. You can see it in the way we stop playing through the lines at the end of games. We stop trying to pass teams to death when the game's in the balance. It's really upsetting that we stop doing what we're best at when the game's in the balance. I think that is the biggest thing that needs to be fixed from the team themselves. And I think that there's a bit of, belief in what we do can work that needs to be there. No matter what, to the very end, belief in what we do will work no matter what. No matter what the situation of the game, no matter what, how we've been pegged back, how difficult it's been, how much we've run. We need to believe that what we do, what we're best at, is effective and will get us over the line, even when it's looking desperate, it's looking dire. And in addition to that, I think we, in this run-in, have to have somebody step up. We have to have that guy in the rest of this season. That's why I put my man Bukayo Saka on the thumbnail, because for me, he's the one. Saka has to step up. You've just signed a new deal. You put pen to paper on a massive contract, and yeah, you deserve it. He definitely deserves it for what's gone before. But I think he 100% has to step up now and be the guy, be the man. Start getting the goals, start getting assists, start contributing. I don't think Man United, Liverpool, United, Arsenal, worst fans of football history. Okay. I'm not going to necessarily disagree with that one. Man United fans are satisfied ones, having seen glory under Sir Alex Ferguson. I don't think Man United fans are satisfied. I don't think they are at all with the way things are going at the moment and the way things have been in the last 2-3 years. I don't think they're satisfied at all. Probably excited a little bit that Carrick has righted the ship, at least, and it's no longer going in the wrong direction, but I don't think they're satisfied. They definitely want to get back to the top, and that's something we all need to avoid. If you thought Arsenal fans were bad when we're winning, wait till United start winning again. It won't be great. It won't be fun for anybody, who's not a United fan, of course, but I'm really, really hoping that this game is very fun for the Arsenal fans. I want energy, urgency, and belief from the very, very beginning. Of course, form goes out the window. It's the derby, and they got the new manager. There's all these variables up in the air that we're not sure how they'll affect the game, etc. We have to win this game. And on paper, if you look at the teams and at the seasons and what's actually been going on, like specifically as opposed to the general mood around the game, we should destroy them. We should absolutely massacre them. On paper, they're literally like the team sheet should just have a big red cross on it. They're all injured. All of their best players are injured. They're playing half a team. They have a new manager. Like, with all the noise, put all the noise away, all the title race stuff, we should decimate them. But of course, the game is not played on paper. And it's going to be very important to stick to our bread and butter. We are very good on the ball this season, at least, at getting in behind teams that play like this with the wingbacks, at getting into the space that their wingbacks leave. We're good at that. And I think we need to focus on that. I think we need to isolate the wingers. And if they're going to let them be 1v1, if Spurs are going to give us 1v1s with our wingers, I'm expecting Saka and probably Martinelli, but even if it is Trossard, he's got 1v1 ability as well. So we need to isolate the wingers and get to the byline. Now, against Wolves, we were crossing all kinds of crosses, trying to get him into Gyökeres. And if they give us that space, yeah, all right, that's fine. That's fine. But we also need to have more than Gyökeres running in. If we're going to be doing that, Rice needs to be getting in the box to get on. We need Martinelli or the backside forward to be on that back post. If we're just going to be lobbing crosses in, if we're just going to be spamming the crosses in, we have to have people in there. Gyökeres isn't going to be on the end of every single cross. Look at the goal versus Brentford. This is my example. Madueke was on the back post. He's the far side winger. Cross came in, went over Gyökeres. He was there. That's what we need. That's what we need, especially if we're going to be spamming the crosses in. But I do believe there will be space in the channels behind the wingbacks. I think we need to utilize that space. And I think if we do, we could decimate them. But I think the most important, as far as the game, the most important kind of impetus going into it is we got to score first. We have to score first. If they score first and stink it out and just sit in deep, don't try to even come out, this could get dicey. This could get, not comfortable at all. And I think that it could be a very, very long, frustrating afternoon if we do not score first. And we need to score early as well. We absolutely need to score early as well. And if we do that, I think we'll have no problems. But there needs to be urgency from the rip. Urgency from the get-go. One of the things that annoys me the most, probably the thing that annoys me more than anything else about the Arsenal, is how much time we take over corner kicks, over throw-ins, over set-piece situations when we're not winning the game. I'm sure if we went and it'd be really difficult to figure this statistic out, but if we went and looked at over the season how much time we waste over the whole season in situations where we're not winning, but we have a throw-in, set-piece situation, free kick, etc. We've probably wasted more than a whole game. We've probably wasted more than an entire game with how long it takes. And that's probably the most annoying thing, but I get it. I understand what Arteta's doing. It's part of his game management philosophy. It's part of this idea that, okay, we can take some time on this and people can get a breather. People can, we can't necessarily go balls to the wall, in your face, urgent, quick free kicks, quick for the entire season. My pushback on that now is that this is crunch time. This is crunch time. And it, like I said earlier in the video, comes back to mentality. We need the mentality that this is crunch time, that it's time to give absolutely everything in absolutely every game, because it means everything now. We've put ourselves in a situation where it does mean absolutely everything now. Every game means everything. Now, if we would have gone ahead, if we were 13 points clear now, it'd be a different story. But we have fumbled the bag, fumbled the lead, whatever you want to use as your turn of phrase. And now we're under massive, massive pressure. And yeah, the league's tough, man. So we were always going to be under massive, massive pressure. And I think that we need the mentality in the dressing room from Arteta to go decimate everybody. We want to go out there and destroy everyone. And especially versus this Spurs team who at the moment are not really doing anything well at all. They're not really doing much well at all. And so I want to see the mentality and the urgency to put 4 past them. And then we can relax. Then we can take 10 minutes on throw-ins. Then we can waste time on corner kicks. Then we can let people get breathers. But we need to be 2-3 up before we start doing that. We need to score first in this game. And we need to get on top, and we need to keep the pressure on. I don't want to see 8 minutes of good play, a goal, and then we chill, and then we're chilling. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all. I want balls to the wall until we're up 4-0. And then we pass them to death. That has to be the mentality. Killers. We are going to destroy them, and then we'll relax. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Well, anyway, people, that's the preview. That has been a good one. We went a little bit longer than I expected us to, but that's certainly all right. I'm hoping for a huge, massive statement win. We really, really need to bounce back and show the league, show the world, show our own fan base that we're here and it's staying there, and we're bringing the trophy back to the Emirates this season, or at least to the Emirates for the first time. It's never been there, has it? So we need to get it there. We need to lift the trophy in the end. And I think if we win this huge, if it's a huge statement performance, statement win, we can send a message to the rest of the league. Hey, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. And that's absolutely what I want to see. But I am done here. Of course, thanks for being here, everybody. I do appreciate it. Smash up those likes on the way out. Hype it up if you got any of those left, of course, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It would be an absolute honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the Cup Chasers community. Make sure you got that notification bell on. We obviously got content coming down the pipe all the time, so you make sure you know when all that is live. And of course, we'll be locked in tomorrow, live and direct for the watch-alongs. Of course, we're doing the hate-along for the Man City Newcastle game. Come on, Newcastle. We need something from you. And yeah, so make sure you're locked in. I do appreciate you being here. Thanks again. You will see me next time.